Welcome into a special edition of the FutureSox podcast. My name is Elijah Evans, and I am joined today by 2023 White Sox draft pick Edrick Felix. It's good to have you. Edrick is coming off of his first professional stint with the White Sox. Played at Florida Gulf Coast, was drafted in the 14th round, and then got to play in 21 games between rookie ball and Kannapolis last season in his first summer within the organization. Heads into 2024 for his first professional season. So how's it going?
Great, great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. Awesome. Well, we'll start it off with this. So you grew up in Puerto Rico. You were born and raised there, and then you made your way over to the States for high school ball and then for college. So what was kind of the beginning of your baseball journey in Puerto Rico, and how did you become, interested in baseball at such a young point in your life?
So, baseball in Puerto Rico is a huge thing, and it also is a huge thing in my family. So it all started with my dad being the coach, the traditional having my dad as a coach, and just basically he taught me everything I know. And when it comes to hitting or fielding, to this day, I even call him and I'm like, Dad, I don't know what's going on, or maybe you can tell me little things to make me feel better. But yeah, he growing up, it was always a family thing. He taught me everything I know. Just the baseball environment in Puerto Rico is it's electric. Everybody screams, everybody brings instruments to the field. I love it. But I mean, it's just a huge thing in Puerto Rico, and then just coming into Florida, just having that same gamer mentality and that excitement, I just brought it with me to Florida.
Yeah, 100%. I think from everybody I've talked to, it seems like the culture of baseball in Puerto Rico is really special. I would love to get out there and see it eventually myself. What was the decision like to come over to the States initially? And kind of what was that like for your family and just for your life being making that choice to come over to the States and pursue baseball at the next level?
So it was all on my parents' decision. They even talked to us before we even moved, to me and my sister. And first they said, "Hey, we're gonna take this sacrifice. We're gonna move to Florida because we didn't have any families in Florida. It was just gonna be us by ourselves." And they said, "We want the best for you guys for your future. We want you guys to go to college. We want you guys to have better things because in Puerto Rico there's not much that we can do after we graduate high school." So it was that they took that decision, and it was a tough decision in the beginning because I first moved with my mom, so my dad had to stay in Puerto Rico and wait for his transfer for his job.
Yeah.
So and then not having him in Florida when we first moved in, like, obviously he's the mentor that I have for baseball. He's the guy that he's always next to me when it comes to baseball. So not having him, it was a tough first year, but he always motivated me. I talked to him every night on the phone, and he even told me, "Hey, you're the man of the house. Take care of your sister. Take care of your mom." So that kind of helped me to mature a little bit as a person, and to even have that mentality of, nah, I'm not gonna have my dad all the time in the baseball field, so I'm gonna figure out the ways that I can get better, or maybe like fix some mistakes that I have by myself.
Yeah, it sounds like you almost were missing, two figures, not only your dad but your coach too. It was two people in one that you just didn't have at that early stage. So that's a obviously a hard transition during that time. So you started at JUCO, right, at College of Central Florida, and then you moved over to Florida Gulf Coast. What was the experience like playing at the JUCO level and then having the experience to kind of move up the college levels?
Um, well, so going into JUCO, I feel like that was the best decision I ever made in my life. I had other options to either go to D1 or even go to another school, but 2020 was my graduation year, so it was COVID year. So much of those big schools didn't have much money to offer for scholarship. And it was tough because I want to help out my family and just not making them pay for school. And so JUCO was a good route for me to not pay for school, play from the start, and College Central Florida just received me with open arms, and they were like, "Hey, we want you to get better, and we're gonna help you with everything." So going into CF was a huge and great decision I made. And I'll say that playing in JUCOs is harder than playing in Division 1,
Wow.
just because preparation was very different. You don't have any scouting report on the pitcher. You don't have any scouting report coming in with the teams because they have different teams every year. So I would say that JUCO was definitely very hard, but I loved it because everybody had the same grind mentality that they wanted to make it to the next level.
Right. That's cool you say that because it's I don't think people think of JUCO often that way, but I know it's like you're right. There's not the same resources that you have at the higher level schools. So you kind of are coming in just having to be the best baseball player you can be without as much knowledge into it. And then, you went on to Florida Gulf Coast. And for those who are not aware of this, you absolutely dominated there. I'll say it for you. You 25 home runs in your sophomore season, just unbelievable season all around. When you were there, what was that experience like? And I know you said it was maybe even easier, but what did the time there kind of teach you and get you prepped for going into the professional level?
So it wasn't easier. It was still like a hard
Right, of
grind, like
course.
a lot of work is hard, but I did feel more comfortable in a way that, like I said, like there was more time, more resources for me to even prepare myself when it comes to a weekend series or getting to know the other team. It was a lot. I had a lot of info coming into the game, so I feel more comfortable. And also, there was a bunch of seniors that were there for 5, 6 years because of COVID. So they kind of also helped me in a way. They kind of like teach me how Division 1 was, how the travel was gonna be, how the long series was gonna be, how the ranking position, all that works. So we all had the same goal, which was winning the conference. And I would say preparation was key, especially the coaches also helped me. They were like, "Hey, we want you to work on all speeds." So we will have a bunch of machines set up as for all speeds, lefty, righty. Like I said, they had a bunch of resources that I can use and prepare myself basically for anything. So I would say that that helped me a lot, and also my teammates making me feel comfortable coming in as a
Definitely.
new.
Yeah, completely utilizing what you have there to just work on your game to the best of your abilities. So towards the end of the season, what was kind of the lead up to the draft process and just, everybody I've talked to within the organization, the draft process is a lot, right? It can be super stressful. You have no idea when you're going to go. You're talking to different teams. It can just be all over the place. So what was your draft experience like leading up to the White Sox taking you in the 14th?
So, first of all, I was blessed that the White Sox gave me the opportunity and also like having my dream job, which was playing baseball. But I mean, it was tough 3 days. I mean, every day I had the phone next to me talking to school to the scouts, talking to organizations. And the funny part is that I never got to talk to the White Sox throughout the whole process. And so coming in the third day, I was already like getting nervous. I was like, maybe this is gonna be the chance. Maybe and this team is gonna pick me. But as soon as I heard my name on the TV because we had to set it up in the living room. My whole family and everybody we started celebrating and we all started tearing up because at the end of the day, like I also put in the work when it comes to the grind and waking up every day, practicing every day, but I also have to give credit to my family as well that they also supported me. They came to the games. The times that I had to talk to someone on the phone, I can just go and talk to them and having that support, I say that it made me the way that I am and I'm very thankful for also my family and everybody that supports me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, family is everything in this world, especially with, going through the career journey that you had going, coming over from a different country and just moving your way. It's difficult. So I'm glad that you had that support system. And that sounds like the draft experience, while it was scary, ended up being a really good outcome for you. So
Yeah.
then once you were drafted by the White Sox, you played in 21 games at the end of the season. You had a 288, 382, 485 slash line. So pretty good numbers, only 21 games. Obviously, it's a small sample, but what was it like for you kind of playing in Arizona a little bit and then making your way to Kannapolis towards the end of the season and kind of just meeting all your, the other draft picks and just getting acclimated to the organization the last few months of the summer?
So the funny part is that as soon as we got to draft camp, um, there was already like 4 or 5 guys that I already played with during summer ball, and
Yeah.
so coming in also feel a lot more comfortable, like knowing the guys already. We're all going through the same thing, so I didn't feel like I was alone. And from the start. everybody from the draft class, um, we all got together. Like we all like made a good friendship. And I mean, starting off in rookie ball, I thought it was gonna be a little different when it came to college or when it came to the transition to the change of being a professional, but I'll say that the preparation was very key, and I kept that same routine, and I kept the same preparation mentality going into pro ball. And even in rookie ball, I even felt more comfortable than I did when I was in Florida Gulf Coast, just because I wasn't even doing homework. I wasn't worried about other things.
Right.
So my full like 100% focus was on baseball and fielding, hitting, and even talking to the coaches on things that I can even work on and improve. So going into rookie ball, it felt very comfortable. It felt very good.
Good.
But going into Kannapolis, that's when you see a big change, and then now you see a lot of fans, and then you see a bunch of guys that you can tell that hey, they're Gold Glovers or they're pure hitters and pitchers that got different five pitch mix. But I like that. I like that because that's the competitive that I want. I want the competition to get better because it makes me a better player as well.
Yeah, you got to compete to keep up with it, right? And that's every level you go up in the minor leagues. It's a new acclimation process to getting used to the next level of competition. Let's get into the baseball part of things. We're talking a lot. It's been great, but so tell us a little bit about your just hitting approach at the plate. You hit for a lot of power and a lot of average throughout college. So what are some of the key things you kind of try to hone in on at the plate and things that you have been working on, into last season to adjust, if you're changing anything in your swing or just the way you're approaching pitches?
So my approach is I don't basically sit on pitches. I know the majority of the guys they pick counts to like sit on the pitch, but I sit on zones, and basically when it comes to a right-handed pitcher, I kind of like set my eyesight to top like up and in of the zone because I feel like that's where the ball is gonna come in. Either if it's a curveball or a fastball is gonna come in on that specific area. So if I see the ball is gonna start during that zone on that location that I'm looking at, that I know it's gonna be a pretty good pitcher is gonna be in the zone that I can just have a good damage. Same thing with lefties. I have the same approach. I look at up and away instead of up and in, because then that's where the ball is gonna come in as a left-handed pitcher. And same thing, like if I know it's gonna start in my location in my area, then I know it's a pretty good pitcher that I can make damage. But if it doesn't start in that area, then that's what I know that I can just spit on the pitch, or I can just maybe it could be a strike, but it won't be the pitch that I want to swing at. So it's just maybe trusting the process, trusting the my approach, and especially when it comes to hitters count, that's when you need to take advantage of swinging
Right.
for the fans or having that pretty good like strong swing. But that's basically it. I mean, learning also with a bunch of veterans in Puerto Rico, I heard their different approaches, and I can just add that to my game as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's interesting you said that about not kind of sitting on any pitches. Along those lines, I guess, even if you're not sitting on a pitch, is there any pitches that as you got your first taste of professional ball last year, is there any types of pitches that you would struggle with more or others that you liked, you kind of found yourself being more comfortable hitting?
So, I mean, I'll say just the splitter, man, that pitch,
Interesting.
I didn't see it much during college
Yeah.
and going into pro ball. A lot of guys they throw it and they throw it pretty good. It's not like it's average or it's not that it's below average. Everything is amazing. That's also you got to give credit to the pitcher. I mean, they work as hard as I do, so everybody's working for the same goal as to make it to the big leagues. And I mean, the splitter is something that I've been working on throughout this offseason as well, and is those are pitches that you don't see, I'll say you don't see as soon as you get to the pro level. And the fact that I was able to see it a lot as well in Puerto Rico, and it helped me also feel more comfortable now going into spring training and even to the minors as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I wasn't expecting the splitter, but that's true. It's not something you always see early in the baseball life as opposed to later on. It's definitely more prevalent at the professional level. Looking over to the other side of the ball a little bit, you played mostly shortstop in college, I believe, and you kind of came in as a shortstop. You played second base though, in your time in Kannapolis. How is your comfort level at short versus second? And is there anything you're working on kind of adjusting defensively as you keep learning at the next level?
So basically, one goal that the White Sox wanted me to have is just to become an everyday player when it came to second base, shortstop, or even third base. So the fact that I'm able to feel comfortable at those three positions, I would say is a good privilege to have, just because I can just move around the whole infield, and it doesn't matter where I stay or where I'm gonna be at. I'm always gonna give my 200%. And what I love is this is so different in every position that maybe you don't see it in the outside, but as a player, it's so different. So you kind of like you're a little bit more entertained that oh, then I'm in the other side of the field, so now I can worry about this and that. Or whenever I'm in the left side of the field, uh, I need to worry about other different things. And it's the fun part about the game. I see it like a fun thing. I mean, being able to be around the whole infield, it makes me it's kind of special for me because I get to experience every position at the pro level, and the fact that I'm already able to be like feel pretty comfortable at those three positions, and it makes me feel good coming in. And it's not much difference, but I feel pretty good whenever is at either position.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, the versatility is only going to help too. I think that's something that you're seeing in the modern game more than ever is players in the big leagues who they become valuable in part because they can play four positions, three positions, whatever it might be. And that's something that is going to continue to become more and more important the way I see it. So it's awesome that you're getting work at all three of those spots. And I think it's going to be valuable as you continue to grow. Let's talk a little bit of off the field stuff. Is there anything that you kind of, I mean, obviously baseball has been a huge part of your life and is the focal point of everything you do. But is there anything off the field that you particularly enjoy to do when you've got some free time or when you're with your family or friends?
So I'm really into the nutrition side of like when it comes to food, or I'm very passionate when it comes to the body, like whatever you feed your body, how your body's gonna react to it. And I'll say like cooking, um, that's a fun thing that I like to do. Also, um, just basically spending time with my family. I like to play dominoes with one of my family. I mean, it's kind of like a Puerto Rican thing that we like to do, and it's fun. I mean, I even my grandpa, he growing up when I was in Puerto Rico, he showed me a little bit of playing guitar. So here and there, like whenever I'm bored or something, I just entertain myself just playing a guitar. Little things like that, I mean, keeps me like sometimes off of baseball a little bit. Sometimes people get to focus so much on baseball that they even forget about the outside. Like you said, like having fun or even enjoying a little bit of time with your family. That's a cool thing. And even with my friends, I also do the same thing that I do with my family, play dominoes or even cook with my friends. The barbecue, grilling, just spending time with them is the fun part.
It's awesome. It's important to keep that balance, right? You can't get your brain too locked in on one thing or else you're going to burn out. What are some of what's one of your favorite recipes that you make or your family makes?
So the famous recipe that I do with my mom is called I don't know how to say it in English, but it's called like it's kind of like a lasagna. Like
Okay.
but instead of you using pasta, you use plantains.
Nice. That sounds
You
good.
use plantains as layers and then the ground beef, and then you add some eggs as well to keep it all together.
That sounds
It's
great.
called like pastelón, but I mean, I don't
Nice.
know how to really say it in English.
No, that's we got it right there. That's good. That sounds
But
good.
But that's kind of like my favorite one that I do with my family.
Nice.
And of course, the ribs whenever you make them and in the grill. Anything related to steaks, I love it. I love it.
Sounds like I need to come over for some food.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into the off season a little bit. So since the your first professional dive, you know, this winter, I know you were playing in Puerto Rico a little and you were also back there for a while. What was the off season training like and kind of how were you able to keep your body rolling throughout this winter?
So, I mean, playing in Puerto Rico it's a huge thing, and I think it really helped me a lot just to grow as a player. Like I to like I didn't have a professional season until I got to Puerto Rico, and I was lucky enough to play throughout the whole year as a rookie, and then playing with ex big leaguers and even big leaguers that right now that it's man, it's unbelievable. And I was good enough to even make it to the All-Star game as well. And we got to travel to DR, and I got to play against Robinson Cano. I got to meet Pedro Martinez, Nelson Cruz, all those legends, man. That then even Yadi Molina was my head coach going into to the All-Star game, and even listening to little things that they would tell me and like little advice and just having that whole environment of professional. And I mean, like, I'm very happy and lucky enough to experience that in such an early stage in my career, that I can just carry that and bring it with me through the minor leagues, and even help out my teammates as well when it comes to things that I struggled throughout that I did in Puerto Rico, that maybe they're gonna struggle with it in the minors, but I can tell them and or help them, advise them ways that they can just get better. But I mean, staying healthy was the main thing that I learned, and also maintaining that same routine, having a routine, waking up every day, going up to lift in the morning. Man, little things like that. I mean, being around such a like a good environment, it feels so good, and I'm very happy that I was able to have that experience in Puerto Rico.
That's awesome. That sounds like a great experience. I mean, like, and being around players like that you mentioned is, I mean, completely invaluable at that point. Really, just something you'll remember. I mean, for a long time, right?
The rest of my life.
Yeah, exactly. So looking into this season, this is your first full season. You'll probably spend some time in Kannapolis. Hopefully things are going to go well. You'll get to move up the ranks eventually. Is there anything that you on the field or just in your mentality, the big goals you have for this first season?
So there's something that I do before every season. I even did it in college. Is I write down every goal that I want on a piece of paper. And even though I'm struggling, or even though I'm not having a good week or anything, I remind myself, I look at the piece of paper and I remind myself, why am I doing this, and what's my goal, or what am I trying to pursue? And that kind of helps me coming in. And obviously I set high standards. For example, I can put in that I want to have a triple crown. Like, I want to be able to have a pretty good average, pretty good home run, like good amount of home runs, good amount of RBIs. It's not just about my individual stats, but it's also about like making it to the playoffs, or winning the championship. I really don't know how the minor league playoff thing work, but if we have a chance to even make it or win it, I mean, that's something that I want to experience and be able to do, especially with the guys that we just drafted. I mean, those guys, I'm sure we're gonna be together most of the time, so it's gonna be a pretty fun group of guys that we're gonna be playing with together, and even meeting other players and along the way. That's also one of the goals. I want to get to know more guys in the White Sox organization, ask them their experience, getting to learn little things, because maybe they've been in the professional level for longer than I've been. So I just trying to keep and grab everything that I can learn from them, and just take it with me throughout my whole career.
Yeah, that's the right mindset right there. Well, I can tell you for sure that a lot of White Sox fans are excited to see what you've got in store this season and just see where you go from here. So we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and thank you for everything. And we're looking forward to watching you play this year.
Yeah, we'll see each other in Arizona. Maybe we
Sounds
can,
great.
I can show you some meals, some recipes that I can
There you
teach
go. Sounds good,
you.
man. Thank you.